I will try to stick to the time and please let me know if I am not so that I can wrap up. It's a great honor and it's a great privilege to be here. It's a great honor to have been chosen in this very select group. I do not think I deserve it. I was coming here and thinking कि ना तो मैं business वाला हूँ और ना ही मैं अभी तक leader हूँ. I just have the, I hold the amanat that is called lumps. And I call it an amanat because that's really what it is. It is an institution built by many people before me, and I hope it is an institution that will be built by many other people after me. And in many ways, maybe that is what leadership is. Since I have very little time, I want to just share 4 thoughts with you. But before that, if I look at the topic of this whole day, which is about turbulent times and change, the point I would like to submit to you is that turbulent times are times of change. By definition, turbulence की जो engineering definition है, I was trained as an engineer. The engineering definition of turbulence is that things are moving fast. If things are moving fast, there is change. And change is a moment of opportunity. And change is a moment of leadership. And that, I think, is what the theme of this whole event is. I want to use my few minutes to think about the LUMS experiment. It's a very small experiment. It's amongst many amazing institutions here. But the reason I want to do that is that I think the challenge before our country for many years in many fields has been that we have crafted great individual excellence. In any field at all, you can find lots and lots of very successful people. Just look around yourself. Where we have not done as well is to turn individual excellence into institutional excellence. And in some ways, I think that's what differentiates the people in this list. That they have made that move from individual success to institutional success, creating an institution that is larger than the individual. And I think that is what the challenge is. And that is where I think people like me are very proud of the responsibility that we've been given at an institution like LUMS, because the LUMS, I was looking at this picture and I was thinking how many people here are associated with LUMS. I mean, there is me, but I just hold the amanat. There is Babar Sahab, there is Razak Daud Sahab, there is Gauri Sahab, who's been a donor, there is Adil Sahab. I could probably go down the list and out of this room and point to, and there are many people I'm not even counting right now. I see Hoover sitting here, I see Peef sitting here, but the point I'm making is that if you think about the excellence that I hope you associate with this institution, it is not the excellence of one person, it is the excellence of multiple people coming together. And I want to point out 4 things which I think are important in turbulent times, and on each one I'll give you an example of what we are trying to do at LUMS to exhibit the change that we want. I think turbulent times need 4 qualities. It needs a focus on quality and excellence, not on mediocrity, but a focus on quality and excellence. दूध अच्छा है तो मलाई ऊपर आ जानी चाहिए. Second, it needs scale. You can't have islands of success. You have to have large scales of success. So what does a small institution like LUMS do if it wants scale? Is it simply that you get more and more students, or is it something else? The third is you need innovation, and the fourth is that you need to expand opportunity. So these 4 things: quality, scale, innovation, opportunity. Let me give you an example in each one of them. Quality is the focus that in this university and in many of your institutions has always been at the center. Have fewer students, but have the best students. Give the best opportunity to the top. And I think this is controversial in some areas. And I'll come to scale in a minute. The scale challenge is different. We need to educate lots and lots and lots and lots of people. We'll need many universities, large universities. But that's not the quality challenge. That is needed, but at the same time, you need to have that quality within these institutions where the best of the best can compete not just with the best and the best of Pakistan, but the best of the entire world. And that requires leadership. So the thing needed for quality is leadership. Scale, I think, is the great challenge of Pakistan today. And the scale challenge comes in the number 180 million. Whatever we do has to become relevant at the scale of 180 million people. So how does an institution like LUMS, 190 faculty, 3,000 students, how do you influence 180 million? One way is bring down quality, expand the numbers. We don't think that's the way to go. The way to go, we think, is entrepreneurship. For 25 years, a focus has been on producing people who can manage things. I think the manager of tomorrow, and this relates to the topic today, has to be an entrepreneur. The logic of entrepreneurship is we have to produce not only people who become good employees, we have to produce people who employ a very large number of people. And that means a shift in education, that means a shift in how we think about what people do when they leave university. The idea is no longer get a best job. The idea is create something that will create 1,000 jobs, because that is where you go from 3,000 to 180 million. The third thing is innovation. And this is a focus, I think, of turbulent times, because what is happening in the world is companies are no longer the companies of what they were. Technologies are no longer the technologies of what they were. In some ways, if I take the example of IBM, the company most known for the computer no longer makes computers. The company Apple is no longer a computer company, it's a telephone and communication company. So innovation is needed the same way in education, and what we are thinking and doing at LUMS is that business is now too important to be left only to business schools. You have to have engineering, you have to have social sciences, you have to have humanities, and that's why we are going into those areas, because the leader of tomorrow has to understand all these things together. We have our first batch of the School of Science graduating this June for a university that hasn't ever graduated science. The results are pretty amazing. We have 3 students, so the school has not yet officially graduated anyone. The first batch comes in June. At this point, 3 of our students already have jobs in Microsoft at Redmond, Washington. One of those students, the clapping comes later, one of those students came from a household of less than 20,000 rupees a month. And right now he is applying for his visa to go to Redmond, Washington and plant that. We have 8 students now who haven't finished their undergraduate in the pure sciences, chemistry, physics, maths. 8 students haven't finished their undergraduate yet, already have fully paid PhD admissions in the top universities in the world, Harvard, Oxford, UPenn, Duke. The point I'm making is these are the new leaders as much as the business leaders. And it is the intersection of business and science and social sciences and society that is going to give you the leaders. The last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll end, I promise, sir, is opportunity. That institutions have the responsibility to expand the opportunity. And therefore, they can be no longer islands of success. And that's what, in some ways, LUMS is seen as, but it is changing, thanks to people like Gauri Saab and many others, Peef and others who are sitting here. We, at this point, give 358 million rupees a year. This year, we gave 358 million rupees in financial aid. Half the students at LUMS are on financial aid. 10% of our students are today from households of less than 20 or 25,000 a month. This year, through our NOP scheme, I'm absolutely delighted to say this year of the students who are getting jobs, the highest paid job till now at LUMS has gone to one of our students from the NOP program. Someone who came from a household again of 17,500 a month. His starting salary in the job he has in hand is 78,000. The point I'm making is 4 years of education, 4 times increase in household income. Universities and institutions have a responsibility to expand opportunity. What does all of this mean? I know I've talked about LUMS. This is not about projection of my institution. This is about saying all institutions have to think across these 4 areas. If we are going to deal with the challenges of Pakistan, we have to focus on quality, we have to focus on scale, we have to focus on innovation, and above all, we have to focus on opportunity for all of Pakistan, because simply being islands of success is no longer enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much.